Why are negative ions so important, and what are negative ions and what do they do? So you basically have two ions. You have a negative ion, which we talk a lot about, and you have a positive ion. Now there's a really good book. It's a simple book, easy read, short read, simple layman's terms. It's called The Ion Miracle. And you can get that book on Amazon. It literally is like a 1 to 2 hour read. It's not a big book and really simple, but I think you're going to find it'll answer a lot of your questions in terms that are easy to understand. Now you can get into books that will go into more depth scientifically on the negative ions and their properties, but for a lot of people it's going to be way over your head as far as real interest and real practical use. But real basic. A positive ion is kind of like a rust. It's an oxidizer. It introduces oxidative stress into the body. It increases or accelerates the aging process. It's what we don't want. Negative ions are the opposite of that. Negative ions slow the aging process. They have been referred to as the vitamins in the air. Absolutely critical. You'll see some of the things here on the screen that negative ions are good for. Burns, longer life, better breathing, helps with things like asthma. So what a negative ion does is it attracts the positive ions. A positive ion will be drawn to a negative ion, and when that happens, the negative effects or the bad effects of a positive ion are mitigated. And so the more negative ions that we have around us, in the water that we drink, the air that we breathe, the environment that we're around, the better we are. The slower the aging process, the better the body responds to stress, that's particularly oxidative stress. So areas like when we live in the city or in a home that's full of Wi-Fi and cell phones and electricity and microwaves, these things produce an abundance in excess of positive ions. So the more negative ions that we can generate, it will help mitigate some of that, those positive ion effects. We cannot get away from those unless you want to move out into the woods next to a waterfall and not have a phone or any of the luxuries that we enjoy in life. And short of that, we've got to do other things. So I wear insoles, wear bracelets, the water stick in my water. These types of things help introduce more negative ions in my body and around my body to help battle that positive ion bad effects. So the more of those you have, the more of the positive ions are going to be attracted to the negative ions and mitigated. So that's why it's so important. Again, real simple. Positive ions are bad, negative ions are good. I know that sounds backwards, but that's the way it is. And the more negative ions we have, the better health that we're going to enjoy because we're mitigating and reducing the effects of positive ions. I encourage the book. It's a good read, simple read, and easy to understand. And in there you're going to hear some case studies, and these are more anecdotal type of case studies. These are not like scientific studies. Again, those are out there and you can definitely find those, and we'll put more of this stuff out as time goes by. But the more negative ions that we can consume, the more negative ions that we can be within, the better our health will be. So with that, use your bracelets, charge your bracelets, cleanse your bracelets, your insoles, whatever it is that you have, utilize them, keep them clean, keep them charged, and best of all, you can imprint them with your Cephi. So the mineral content of Cybin is amazing in the way it holds frequency. And that brings me to another thing I'd like to talk about, and that is Cybin. You see a lot of things on the internet, especially in things like Google and Amazon, where you can buy Cybin. and that is not Cybin. They're selling Banestone. Banestone you'll see a lot for massage therapists. They'll use these they're usually a darker black or gray stone that are shaped into blades or tools that they can use on your back. That is Banestone. It is not Cybin. Cybin is a mineral compound that came from an asteroid that hit the northeast provinces of China millions of years ago. It's found in the area now known as Qingdao, China. I've been to that mine. It's the only place in the world that Cybin is found. Now, Cybin doesn't have any out-of-this-world minerals. All of the minerals of Cybin are readily available here on Earth. And when they've been tried to be put together in the same concentrations and ratios as what is naturally in the Cybin meteor, it doesn't have the same effects. We don't know if it's because when it passed through space and through the atmosphere, the radiation effect, we don't know. All we know is that Cybin that comes from that mineral, from that meteor, is the only place that those properties are able to be witnessed and utilized. So be careful when you're buying Cybin. If you read down a little further, it's actually Banestone, and that is not the same.